Dennis Robertson, SNP Parliamentary Candidate for West Aberdeenshire and Kincardine.
Thank you. A fantastic opportunity to speak to members. I think it's probably the first time that I've had this opportunity to put something on an audio file to our members, and I'm absolutely delighted to do so. What makes it very special is we've got an interview that took place in Stonehaven with Mearns FM with the First Minister at the 75th anniversary of the Stonehaven open air pool. And the First Minister kindly gave us a few more minutes of his time at the end of the interview to have a personal message to the members and activists within our own constituency. But firstly, a message from me. 2007 was a historic year for the SNP. We are now in government, and it really is thanks to the activists and members and the supporters within the West Aberdeenshire and Kincardine constituency that we're in government. Believe it or not, we had the largest swing from any constituency in the West Aberdeenshire and Kincardine. And although we came second in the constituency vote, on a regional vote, it gave us Maureen Watt and Nigel Dawn. Now, as you know, we've got the majority of one in government, so having two list MSPs in this northeast area means that we were partly responsible, if not responsible, for today's government. We've got a long way to go, and we're going to create new history. History will be we're going to have the first parliamentarian representing this constituency at Westminster. I'll be your candidate, and, of course, I'll soon be your parliamentarian, representing you and everyone else within this constituency. Firstly, interview with Alex Salmond and the latest and newest community radio station in Scotland, Mearns FM.
First Minister, thank you for taking time out of the festivities today at the Stonehaven Open Air Pool to come on Mearns FM. Mearns FM is the newest community radio station in Aberdeenshire, and we've been going for about 4 weeks, so it's very good to have you on the radio. My show, Beat the Drum, which goes out on Wednesday night, which this interview will be part of, is a mix of politics, local affairs, current events and so on. So if we can kick off with a few political questions. In the light of this week's ICM poll showing a majority in favour of a referendum, what is the timescale for holding the referendum?
Well, we'll introduce a bill for a referendum in the Scottish Parliament next year. We'll publish the white paper on which it will be based on St Andrew's Day this year, and then it'll be up to the Parliament to decide. And I hope the other parties, regardless of their views on independence, will accept that the majority of people want people to decide on this issue. They want to have the right of a vote. And it's funny, ironic actually, we're just sitting here outside Stonehaven Open Air Pool. This pool came about 75 years ago in a referendum of the folk of Stonehaven.
Really?
This was voted on and voted through. The town council decided to have a referendum because there was a controversy, and they settled the issue, and as a result this pool came into being. So, if it's right for the folk in Stonehaven to decide in a referendum whether to have a swimming pool, I think it's probably right for the folk of Scotland to decide their constitutional future in a referendum.
While a percentage of those polled were in favour of a referendum, but not in favour of independence, what steps will you take to persuade the electorate to vote in favour?
Well, I think we're winning this argument. I'll tell you why, because I looked at that poll very carefully, and 2 years ago exactly the same polling company had exactly the same question, and they had a 20% gap between those who were for and against independence. Those who were against were winning by 20%. In this poll, on the same question, the gap was 8% after 2 years of an SNP government. And so my view is that we can get the arguments across, then we can close that gap and win the referendum. But, it's up to the people. It's, the whole point of a referendum is you put your fate in the hands of the people. Now, I'm prepared to do that. The one thing I'd say is if these unionist parties, Labour, Tory, Liberals, etc., if they were so confident about the outcome, why are they so frightened of the vote?
Interesting, yes. What message did you take from your conversation with David Cameron regarding the nuclear facility in the West Coast?
Well, it wasn't much a conversation from his point of view. He gave a television interview and I responded to it. The one thing I say about David Cameron, he goes on about how he's got a respect agenda and he's going to treat Scotland with respect. But everybody's going to treat Scotland with respect. Incidentally, it kind of implies that previously the Tories didn't treat Scotland with respect. Not all Tories. I noticed on the plaque open today at Stonehaven swimming pool, the other name on it was Alec Buchanan Smith. Now, he was an example of a decent Tory, in my opinion. He was somebody who treated Scotland with respect. But David Cameron is probably right to believe that for many years the Tories haven't treated Scotland with respect, and therefore he says they're going to treat Scotland with respect. And then the next thing he says, and therefore I'm going to dump a new generation of nuclear missiles in Scotland without so much as a buy your leave for the Scottish people. I mean, come on. As I put it, look, if I said, look, I'm going to dump all Scotland's carbon dioxide in the River Thames without asking the Westminster Parliament, would that be treating them with respect? So I think David Cameron is going to have to live up to his words by his deeds, and if he lives up to his words by his deeds, then that'll be a good thing. But it won't involve believing that he can't do something like that without the consent of the people of Scotland through their Parliament.
Good. Thank you very much for appearing on Mearns FM.
And now, a personal message to you all from Alex Salmond.
Well, this is Alex Salmond. This is a personal message, a call to all activists hereabouts that Dennis Robertson's a fantastic candidate. He's leading a fantastic campaign. I mean, let's remember how well we did in 2007. Let's remember how well we did in the European elections in 2009 in this area. And let's realise that this seat is well within our compass. And with Dennis as our candidate, we've got a better chance than ever before. So let's get to it and make sure that we put in the effort to win this seat.